Hey, and welcome back to the Lush Crochet Ignite Show. I am super happy to have you here today. So come on in, and get in where you fit in, because I've always got room right around my table for you, your friends, and your frenemies. So go ahead, like, share, start a watch party, run and tell somebody that Lush Crochet Ignite is hot on the box. I'm going to encourage you, grab your notebook and grab your pen, because I always say note takers are money makers and note takers are change makers. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. It's your girl, Dr. at the Lush Crochet Ignite Show. I got a fabulous guest today, Dr. Johannes Christian, the face of forgiveness and reconciliation. Welcome to the show. Woo! Hey everybody, this is your girl, Dr. Lotus Rashay, and guess what? I am on the road, but guess who's on the road too? Mr. Dr. Reverend, that's right, I said it all. Dr. Johannes Christian is with me today, and for those of you that don't know him, I'm going to play a little clip in a few minutes, but that's him right there in the jacket. He don't even know we're looking at him. This is the secret sauce. So look, come on in and get in where you fit in. Why? Because I've always got room around my table for you to come on and get in where you fit in. Tell your friends, tell your dog Toto, tell your friends and your frenemies, because guess what? Your friends and your frenemies, definitely them frenemies, they need to hear this message about the face of forgiveness. And so today, that's what we're talking about here, the face of forgiveness. So Dr. Johannes Christian is here with me today on his walk. Folks, you know, I did a show last week and I talked about Johannes Christian. He is the man who was physically altered, if you will. He was blinded by a young 15-year-old dropping a brick or a rock on his car as he traveled on the highway, crushing his windshield, crushing his face, crushing his skull, and blinding him. But he found that he could be the face of forgiveness. And so I want you to welcome my guest, the remarkable, amazing, and incredible Dr. Johannes J. Christian. Dr. J, what's going on? How are you? Can you still hear me? I can't hear you. Go ahead and say something.
Lotus, I don't know if you can hear us, but you're cutting out.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay,
go ahead.
We got you now.
All right. Okay, so they're just jumping out. They having a little technical difficulty because, as you know, they're walking. So while we're preparing for his stream just to come back in, I'm going to give you this, especially for those of you that are not familiar with him. I want to make you familiar with him. So I think he's back. Here he goes. Hey, Dr. Christian, we can hear you now, sir.
All right. Well, notice the winds are out here. They're picking up rather strong. We're about 98 miles outside of Columbus. 98 miles outside of Washington, D.C. Have alongside of me Brother Wolf, who is my walking companion this morning. We're just trying to get down 10 miles, and it's been a great day. We know that there's a storm heading this way, so we're trying to get as much in on the hike as we can today. As you can see, we're dressed for rain, and we're dressed for cool weather. Started out at about 54 degrees, and the weatherman said it was going to go down from there. But the good news is we're on a walking path that's much more level than the last time we talked to you. We're not on a highway like Route 68, and we don't have to be hanging off of any cliffs on the mountains that we were climbing.
Awesome. Well, Dr. Christian, I'm so happy to have you here. And for those of you that don't know Dr. Christian, you are going to want to get to know him. And we're going to share more information with you later on today. But Dr. Christian, last week we did a show. You told us a little bit about yourself. And for those who are joining us all around the world, go ahead and tag a friend and come on in and let us know where you're coming in from, because we want to know. So Dr. Christian, last week we talked about some of the anxiety about starting the walk, because it's a long walk from Columbus, Ohio, all the way to Washington, D.C. So tell us a bit, because we've been tracking you every day. Tell us a bit about how the walk has been, and tell us a little bit more about the story first before you tell us about the walk. How about that?
But Lotus, I've not heard all of your question, but I can tell you that the challenges have been mostly the physical challenges:
Mm-hmm.
wind, uh, high mountains, long distances, rolling hills. Um, we faced a couple of challenges as we made rest stops along the way, where people were unsure of our motives because we were parked in church parking lots, and members of the churches thought maybe we were there to do vandalism. Pastors showed up, and God got the glory. Um, we've met a lot of different people along the way in West Virginia. We had a challenge. We met an older man. He was on his porch. He asked what we were doing. We told him we were walking to Washington, D.C. He told us to have a good day, but he went inside and began to call his neighbors to let them know that we were walking down their street and that we were on our way to Washington. And the next, about two houses down, the lady ran out of the house with tears in her eyes, telling us to meet us and wanted to talk. And again, God got the glory. These were people in the community that didn't look anything like us, but yet she had opened her house, wanted to know if we needed water, used the bathroom, whatever we needed, she opened it up to us. So we know that God is in the midst of what we're doing. Um, those are some of the physical challenges. Anybody that's been watching our daily live streams on faceofforgiveness.org or on my Facebook probably know we're on Limitless Productions uh, Facebook, know that we've been sending out challenging messages. And today our message went out this morning. It was about change. Sometimes in the midst of our lives, God helps us to make marvelous changes. We know about the change from being a sinner to being saved. We know how that helps us to walk away from sin and for God to cleanse us from all of our unrighteousness. But I'd like to talk about a change that's a little bit more in depth in our life, because often after we're saved, God still has to make changes. Sometimes there are habits that he wants to drop off. Sometimes there are specific characteristics in our life that he wants to shed us from. Sometimes we may be faced with obesity or with a lying tongue. So God wants to make those changes in our lives. And likewise, sometimes there are things that we do in our personal life that has an effect on our neighbors and friends or on our community or even our country. And I believe that part of what God is allowing me to see is that when we talk about forgiveness, that sometimes that perpetrates a change. Sometimes that means that the person who has to make the forgiving act needs to make a change to allow another individual that may be a little bit different than them to be a part of their life. And God is enabling us with that wonderful change to be able to do the kind of love that God does for us, that agape love that accepts
Yes.
people for who they are, where they are, as the love of God accepts each of us.
Awesome. I love it. And so this is one reason why, folks, that when Dr. Christian asked me to help him out with this walk, I had to say yes, because this is the type of love, the face of forgiveness and reconciliation that we need all across the planet. So while you come on in and get in where you fit in, because I've always got room around my table for you and your frenemies. Let us know where you're coming in from. I'm seeing people streaming from Manila, Philippines, all over the place. And so we're going to take a quick 2-second break, and we're going to play this short commercial for you. And then we're going to come back, because we want not to keep Doc too long because the inclement weather out there. But then we're going to talk a little bit more about forgiveness. And then I have a question to ask you, Doc, because you asked me about a couple people that you really wanted their support. And I want to know how you've been getting their support for the people you reached out to last week. And so with no further ado, this is coming straight to you. Hey.
You got me running. You got me running, got me running. Shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Raise your hands up. Raise them up.
We got him here, guys. Dr. Johannes Christian, and we're talking about it. Yeah, the face of forgiveness. Although he almost lost his life, he didn't lose his faith. He's here today, and we're talking about coming out of darkness into the light of forgiveness. Today's topic is face of forgiveness. Walk 2021. Dreams you can do. And here's face of forgiveness. Walk with Dr. Johannes Christian. Welcome to the show. Tell everybody you know. Woo! Hey! Like, share, and start a watch party. All right, Dr. Johannes, Dr. Johannes. Woo! I got to tell you. So I see people streaming in from all over the world. I see Brenda Ringwood. Let us know where you're coming in from, everybody. Pastor Dorothy Mae Ross. I see you from Porch Talk. That's right. I see Takako Matadaira from Japan is here. I see folks from all over the world streaming in, and Doc, they just support you. And we are going to read some of these things later. But Doc, last week we reached out and you said you sent a call out to a lot of folks that you would like to help you. I think Mr. Les Brown was one of them, and a couple other folks. So what inspired you to reach out to these folks?
Okay, are you there, Lotus?
Yes, we can hear you, Doc.
Okay. I think I was inspired. Again, we talked about this earlier. There were so many things happening. The walk to Washington had long been a desire for me, but I didn't really have a purpose in why I wanted to walk, other than I wanted to face the challenge in the distance. But last year, God began to move in my heart when there was so much distress, so much unrest going on in our country. About the time that George Floyd was killed, and we had so much upheaval in our country, and that began to speak to me. And of course, I watched Ahmaud Arbery and as recently Andre Hill, and I don't say very much about it, but Andre Hill had been one of my own foster kids back in the 80s, in the early 90s, and when he got killed by the police officer in Columbus, it really affected my life. By that time, our walk was pretty much underway, but I believe that God was speaking to me in a very special way. There was a dream that was started by another individual, a dream that talked about seeing a different America, a dream that talked about seeing America where people could walk hand in hand, not being concerned about their race or the color of their skin. And God just, kept impressing that on my mind. And that began to give me the impetus and the energy to pull this walk together, to understand that in order for us to see that dream and to see our country united, that it really will take acts of forgiveness, acts of reconciliation, of learning how to reconcile and work together to solve our problems. And when we've done that, that would open the door to seeing a brighter future and a more harmonized and a more harmonious America, which I believe is what God really wills for us to be.
That's
Lotus,
awesome.
I see sometimes a struggle from a different vantage point. I realize that there are a lot of Caucasian individuals in our country who have suffered great loss as the result of some of the economic upheaval that we've had in our country. And oftentimes, people confuse loss of jobs with the thought that maybe someone else is taking over the jobs that they would normally have had. And so I can feel their pain. I can feel the pain of those of us who have been denied jobs, as well as those who maybe have lost jobs. what I think we need to look at is not the cause of why we don't have jobs, but what do we need to do to make sure that everybody can have a job. I keep hearing you say there's always room at your table. And I believe that in the United States, there ought to be always room at whatever it is for everybody that wants to participate.
Yes, I concur. And so I want to thank you again for sharing that. And I, I, I want to say this, Doc. I have something for you. I have something for you, and I want to share it with the rest of the world. And so you have your camera person and all these people around you. I want them to come into the screen. Have them come into the screen. Have them stand right next to you.
Well, well, it's actually just the two of us out here.
Yeah,
Right
we're
now.
trucking, and no cars can follow us now. We're on the C&O path.
Yeah, we're on a bike trail.
So to our viewers, I want to tell you something. I called Dr. Christian this morning, and you see that guy standing next to him. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name is Wolf, founder of Limitless Video Productions. What I do is never about me, so I'll just go by Wolf.
And he is definitely limitless. And since they've been on the trail, I've talked to Wolf, I don't know how many times a day or what have you. And I got to tell you, they're on a 10-mile stretch right now. They cannot be picked up. They cannot talk to nobody. It's just the two of them out there. And so for them to stop and take the time to speak to all of you, I see you guys streaming in from the UK, from Nigeria, from Burundi, Africa, from Japan. I see you guys from all over the world, from the Philippines. I want to thank you.
Yeah, we're grateful for the support. We love you very much.
And so we love you. We love you, and we want to share this with you. Guys, this is a surprise.
You got me running, got me running.
Amazing Dr. Christian. This man right here is in the house.
Raise your hands up.
And guess what? Dr. Christian, it's because of you that dreams do come true. I want to introduce to you and announce that your dream is coming true as we discuss the faith of forgiveness for 2021. I want you to meet and greet one of your idols, none other than this Brown!
Hey,
How about them apples?
glory.
Yeah. How about them apples? You have something special. You have greatness in you. And I am so honored to be able to speak to you and to the two of you, and also just to share with you in this moment that you are helping people to begin to go to a place within themselves that they can't go by themselves, and to realize that forgiveness is the fragrance left by a fresh rose on the foot that crushed it. That those words by Mark Twain really illustrate that it's not easy. And forgiveness is not forgetting, it's remembering without anger or revenge. And it elevates us to a spiritual level, and a level that we really need now: peace, love, and happiness more now than ever before. So this is Mrs. Mamie Brown's baby boy and Dorothy Bell's pride and joy. And the reason I say Dorothy Bell's pride and joy is because I just discovered 6 weeks ago my birth mother. And I always wondered, how could you give someone away that you brought into this world? And your example is an example of not asking, why did you do that? It's an example of my finding a way to turn this in something positive.
Amen.
And so Dorothy Bell Rucker gave me life, but Mamie Brown taught me how to live life.
Come on now. Come on now.
It's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I got two mothers, and I love
Embrace
them
it.
just the same. I got
Yeah.
two mothers, and I'm not ashamed. And so I started thinking, yes, and I know there are others about who is it I need to forgive. And number one, I need to forgive me.
Yeah.
Because whosoever I point at, I got three fingers pointing at myself. I'm like the lady who said, Lord, I ain't what I want to be, ain't what I'm going to be, but thank God I sure ain't what I was.
Amen to that.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Well, it's an
I
honor.
love you, and this challenge that you've taken on. As a saying, judge a person not by what they do, but what they do that they don't have to do. You don't have to do this, but you decided there's something in you. This is a calling. A job is what you get paid for. A calling is what you're made for. And there are people who, as a result of your example, the two of you, that will begin to re-examine their lives, that will begin to look at life differently, because forgiveness is now needed more than ever before. And love,
It is.
peace, and harmony, that we all have an opportunity to be ambassadors for that. And that's what you are. Not just the face of forgiveness, but an ambassador for love, peace, and harmony. That's what the world needs now more than ever before. And so if I had the opportunity to be in your presence right now, I will kneel to you because you are a man's man. And I admire you and I love you. And I'm sending you a virtual hug right now because you deserve it. I don't like cold weather. I was living in Chicago and I saw Superman riding in a cab. He said it was too cold to fly.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I just want to thank you so much. And I look forward to our meeting, and I want to support you on your journey.
Bless you, my friend.
Oh,
Bless you.
yes,
I've
sir.
long admired you. I've long listened to you. Never really thought that I'd meet you. But you have really taught me a lot in some of your lessons. And
Yeah.
so it's an honor for me to be in your presence today.
How
Lotus, I
long have you
can't
been in
thank you enough
Columbus? Yes. How long
for
have you been
bringing
living
this
in
dream true.
Columbus? Thank you. How
I,
long have
I
you
moved
been
to
in?
Columbus in 1985.
Got it. Was I on radio then, or had I already left?
Mm,
They had the Kahiki incident that got me fired.
ah,
Yes. Oh boy, I tell you. Well, now, do you still live in Columbus?
yes, yeah, I still live in Columbus. I'm executive director of the Mid-Ohio Board for an Independent Living Environment. We're a center for independent living for people with disabilities and the founder of Face of Forgiveness Foundation.
Excellent. Well, whatever I can do to be supportive of you, and I don't fly and travel like I used to, but I've got a lot of children and grandchildren in Columbus and great grandchildren. So I do visit them on Zoom, but I'm going to come when things cool down a little bit with this virus. It's killing everybody, the good, the bad, and the ugly. People dying who never died before. So
Well, it
thank
would
you
be
so much.
helpful if we can do this in the PM so we can hear everybody and get proper connectivity. But
Yeah,
it's an honor. I mean, we're honored. Our agency covered some of your speech on you have greatness within. So that would be something that you should check out. We sent that to you privately before. But this is about Doc, and this is about not just about that, but awakening others to be more forgiving, to approach reconciliation, and with the hopes to unite not only America but our beautiful planet as one.
which Lotus is doing through her broadcast.
Right.
You know, I believe that the attitude of love is limitless. And sometimes we put reins on God and on what God is able to do through us. or the ability that God has already given us to be able to exhibit to other people. And so I'm looking for us to be a part of a limitless world. And Les, if you just tell people to meet me World War II Veterans Wall in the National Mall, and we're going to do our rally right in front of the Martin Luther King Monument on this Saturday morning at 10 a.m. I
What's
would
the date?
greatly
What's the
appreciate
date
it.
on that? I will do that. What's the date?
It's going to be on the 30th of October.
Got it.
8,
All right.
8:30 we'll meet at the World War II Veterans Wall. 10 o'clock we'll start the rally at Martin Luther King Monument or Memorial.
I
And
will
then
get
at
the word
6,
out.
Lotus will tell you about us shaking up the rest of the world.
Excellent. I will do that. Lotus,
Yes.
I will
And
do that.
so again, Mr. Les, I just want to thank you for being here. And
Amen.
I got to tell you something, Dr. Christian. When you last week, when you called out and said, "Hey, if anyone knows Mr. Les Brown, I know someone that knows him," but I couldn't tell you that last week. And my friend called him and shared a bit of his story. And to my surprise, I got a call and they said, "Dr. Lotus, Mr. Les Brown is on the phone." So not only did I do a mouse drop, a mic drop, a jaw drop, everything dropped. And when I told Mr. Les about you and that he's been my mentor, even though I hadn't met him, he's helped so many people all around the world. And that's what this is about, helping people to understand forgiveness. And look, we've got people here from Japan. She says, Les Brown, oh my God, you are so inspirational. Dr. Lotus actually first introduced me to you. Loved listening to your videos and love her humor and awesome laugh. Well, thank you so much. And we've got people from the UK, from the Philippines, just all over the world. And I'm so happy that we are able to support you, Dr. Christian, with what you're doing. Thank you, folks in Nigeria, here in the United States, just all over the world. And again, thank you, Dr. Mr. Les Brown. Y'all know I'm speaking that into existence. Y'all know what happens, right? Thank you, Manila, Philippines. Thank you, everyone around the world. Let's contribute to continue to support this dream that Dr. Johannes Christian has created, because
I'm
it
on
is
board.
truly a face of forgiveness and
I'm on board
reconciliation.
100%. I will do
Awesome.
that. All right. Yes.
Awesome. So, with no further ado, let's cut right to some final words of wisdom. Mr. Les Brown, would you go first with your final words of wisdom? Then we'll go right to Johannes Christian, and we'll keep this walk going. Mr. Brown?
Yes. Okay. I'm not a religious person. Religious people are afraid of going to hell. Spiritual people have been there. And hell to me is the person that you experience, that you meet when you die, that you were supposed to become, and see the work that you were supposed to do. This is the God moment. He does not have to do this. The gentleman that's accompanying him, he does not have to be his companion.
Right.
But the two of them have committed, where two or three are gathered in my name, I will be among you. And in the spirit of love and a commitment to make the world a better place, Horace Mann said we should be ashamed to die until we've made some major contribution to humankind. And I say, hats off to the two of you and to you for amplifying what they're doing, alerting me so that I can become a part of it. And for those that are listening, and let's support this big time. This is just the beginning. Let's support it big time.
Just the beginning.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm just honored, and I'm going to do my part, and I'm hungry to meet the two of you.
Yes. Awesome. And don't forget, Mr. Les Brown has some events coming up as well. So please, let's make sure we support Mr. Les Brown, because he supports people all around the world. Hey, Daisy, that's my sister, all the way out of Georgia, great to see you. And so let's keep on supporting and keep on keeping on. And so, Dr. Christian, this is about you, your mission, and just the magnificence that you have. So please share with us your final words of wisdom for this broadcast.
I think my final words, to know what's right and continue to do what's wrong says that there's something wrong with you. To know that God requires us to love one another, and yet we continue to put in roadblocks and opposition in others' way, says that we're in a direct contradiction to the great Creator's will. My desire is that we will know what's right and do the right thing. And that will make this world a much, much better place.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Lotus, I can't thank you enough.
You're welcome.
For bringing one of my life wishes to pass. Dr. Les Brown, my hat is off to you for taking this time to acknowledge this walk. God bless you, my brother.
Oh, I'm going to be promoting it, and we're going to break some bread together. I know how to make a good sweet potato pie, so I'm going to come with a good sweet
look
potato
out.
pie.
You got me coming.
So
fantastic.
You got me coming. I'll be there.
Yes.
All right.
So to each and every one of you all around the world, we want to thank you again for everything that you've done and everything that you're doing to support the walk. And I say, I encourage you, please connect with Dr. Christian. As you see in the ticker, that's how you can connect to him. My staff is on. Please make sure, let's get these links in the comments. And matter of fact, you know how I do it. I put it to it. I'm going to put these links in the comment on your side where you can just click on them. So here's the links. Go ahead and connect with him. You can go to his Facebook page and connect with him, or you can go right here. Let me share this with you. You can go to his Face of Forgiveness Foundation page right here and connect with him, or you can also go to his Face of Forgiveness Walk landing page and connect with him. We have a myriad of ways that you can connect with him. So please take the opportunity in the time of the opportunity to connect. Be connected, get connected, and know that someone loves you and someone cares about you, YOU, just as you are.
Amen.
Awesome. So with no further ado, again, we thank each and every one of you. Again, thank you, Dr. Les Brown, and thank you, Dr. Christian, and Mr. Limitless, and everybody that supported him. Oh, there's my sister. Kim Jacobs. Hey, Kim Jacobs, great to see you. Thanks to have you here. So with no further ado, we're going to say farewell to you. We love you. We appreciate you, and have a great day. That's right. It's time for you to ignite and take flight in every part of your life. Be here. Dr. Les Brown.